Hey everyone, it's Tom from Black Toe Studio. Hope you're all doing well. The other week I posted up a little video about me having kind of some trouble painting and stuff like that. You'll be glad to hear that actually I've actually made a fair bit of progress this week and managed to pick up the brush quite a few times, and I'm actually enjoying some painting at the moment. Also some building of models, which I'll go into later, because I had obviously the orc Gorkanaut in a box still ready to do, but I won't go into that this time because that's not where I've made the most progress in my opinion. So the interesting thing is, obviously I pulled out all the models I had unpainted and all this kind of stuff, and I started off by doing some Black Templars and a couple of other little models in that kind of area. And then it kind of progressed into something a bit different, which was quite funny to me. That it's amazing that I've got all this other stuff to do, but I started redoing something, and there was a certain amount of enjoyment that came out of it, and then that progressed into another model, and then another model, and then I started thinking about, oh, maybe I should do this because this feels like it's right to me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to flip around to the front-facing camera, and we're going to have a quick look at what I have been doing. All right, so first up, we start off by getting the two characters done for my Black Templars. So the Marshal here, I might add a couple of little bits to him. I know I think when you look at a model sometimes you think there's something missing, but I'm not quite sure what it is yet. Any comments are welcome, feel free. But yeah, quite happy with his overall progress. It's sort of come out looking the way I wanted it to. I did some more of the black armor stuff I've been doing. A few little details on this guy as well. It's a fantastic model, to be honest, and likewise when I move the next one in, these two are really good leaders in my opinion for your Black Templar army, and I wouldn't say don't do these to anyone because they are very good. So that's the Marshal, and then we also had the Lieutenant. Let's pop him down here. There we are. Yeah, I'd say this is probably my favourite out of the two. There's just something about the bulky chest armour that really, I think it really makes him look like a proper Marine. I don't know, it's interesting that obviously they decided to go with this look on this particular Black Templar Lieutenant, because I know it's from some of the artwork that we had on some of the book covers and some of the pictures, and it's quite an iconic kind of, I suppose, model, but slash bit of artwork for us. But yeah, absolutely fantastic looking model. I really actually enjoyed painting this one. This is the one I did first, and then I obviously went on and did the Marshal after that. So these are the two that I did. Probably I think it was must have been, I suppose, a day or two after the first video. So I got straight into it, and I thought, what, I'm just going to pick up a brush, we're going to keep going, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, I finished those two, and I was like, right, well, we said we were going to go on and do probably these Sword Brethren, and I was just getting ready to prime them, and then basically I had to the right of where I've been sort of painting stuff. I had a load of other models out, obviously, and I saw my Sisters of Battle sitting there, as obviously because I had them all out. And for those who don't know my Sisters of Battle, here's a couple of examples of what they currently look like. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. There's a couple of examples there. So it was the Argent Shroud. Now, as I said in the last sort of video, that one thing that had been stopping me painting them is I wasn't sure I was happy with what they were coming out and what they were looking like. And yeah, that was really bugging me, to be honest. So I started thinking, well, how did I do my last ones? Because the original ones I had, I think they did them with red armor, and I thought, what, let's do a test model up. Let's see if that's what's bothering me, because it's I think it's one of the things. Sometimes when you have an idea of an army you used to collect and redo, you kind of want to do it very similar to the way you did it, because that's what you kind of, I suppose, attach your brain to. So I started off by grabbing a banner bearer. Actually, no, it wasn't a banner bearer. So it was one of the Sister Superiors, which is this one here. So here we go. It's coming on here, and I redid it in the style that I think I did my original Sister Battle army, which was basically red armor, some of the black and white kind of cloth and clothing, cloaks, etc., and kind of the black base bolters and weapons with some silver and some brown mixed in there. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is what's been missing." So that then developed into, right, well, let's just make sure we got it right, and we did a second one. Which is this one here, which is one of the bearers of the simulacrums, I think they're called. And then I was like, yeah, that's it. But I'm going to do another one just to be on the safe side. And then a third one developed itself into this here, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And I think as soon as I started cranking these out, I felt, well, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to carry on with these ones. So model wise. So going from potentially doing a lot of Black Templar stuff, which we'll be doing, but I'm probably going to mix it around a bit. These ones sort of, they're speaking to me. I think that's the best way of looking at it. I think they're speaking to me to sort of get done, because this is an army that was quite close to me because it was one of my original 40k armies from a long time ago, back in, as I said, when they were all in metal, and getting rid of them was quite a hard choice for me. But it's just that I just wasn't using them, and I thought the size and scale at the time was wrong, etc., etc., etc. But now they're obviously so much better, and I've just recently been sitting here waiting. So now, obviously, there's a slight drawback to this because I've got a lot of other models which are currently obviously painted like this and like this, this here, and also the Exorcist here. I remember the name this time. But again, to me, when I look at them, I think they don't look finished. And I know I could carry on slapping on different paints and stuff like that, and do that. But I decided, no, I'm just this over here is how I want them to look. That's it, done. And then I started picking up one model at a time, going, oh, that one looks quite fun to do. I'm going to redo that one, redo that one, etc., etc. And then, well, as with every kind of bit of forward step, there's always a couple of steps backwards. So I actually I had some vehicles that weren't done. So here's one. So here's an immolator. Now, there was a couple of problems with this one. Number one, I realised that I don't know what possessed me to glue this on before painting it. Actually, it's a bit of a pain, so I'm going to have to work out something with the stained glass there before I spray it. But then I also noticed, when I went in a bit closer on it, you can see there's some, some weird patchiness on the spray. Now, I thought maybe when I did this originally, maybe I didn't get a good coverage on it, so I wasn't too worried about it. But because this one here is quite, I really like this model. I thought I'd use a Rhino as test bed, because they when I checked the Rhinos as well, they had a very similar kind of graininess on the surface, which I was like, oh, I hope it's just a bit of bad spray or something, just when I was doing it initially. So I then grabbed some of my Rhinos, and you'll probably see straight away here there's something not quite right, because everywhere I've got that kind of patchiness, I've got this kind of cracking, but also it just doesn't want to. It doesn't want to settle, because I'm using Mephiston Red here, which is a fresh can, trying to cover it, and you can see, odd enough, the fleur de lis there on the top here. That was I'd actually hand covered that with white, because they were going to be white, obviously, on the finished models, because that's I think it was quite a good contrast to what I was doing previously. So I'd done that separately. However, as you can see there, that's covered absolutely perfectly, but anywhere where the silver spray was initially seems to have had a really poor effect. Now, me being stupid sometimes, as we all do, we think, oh, maybe it was just that model. So I grabbed my other Rhino, and I thought, I'll just see if it's just that, and no, again, as you can see down here, lots of cracking, etc. And yeah, not quite covered. So unfortunately, I've resigned myself that I'm not going to try and do that again. I'm going to essentially, I'm going to have to strip these models and get whatever it was on the bottom side of that silver paint to be removed, because again, as I said, I don't want to do a base on the immolator here, because I think, you can see it. It's just a really weird kind of, just looks grainy. It doesn't even feel grainy to the touch. It's perfectly smooth, but I think if I was to go over that again with red, I think we'd be in trouble again, and I'd have to redo all of it. So we're not going to do that. We are just going to essentially get these models stripped, because what I would like to do, even though I've started on these here, I want to get these stripped down, respray, because I want to try out. I like to do, when I'm doing when I'm painting an army in a slightly different style or a new idea, I like to see what every aspect of it looks like, because essentially when I was doing the Argent Shroud one here, I did the sisters first, and I did one of the vehicles, which I picked the most annoying vehicle in the world, in my opinion, to paint. I'm sure there's worse out there, but the amount of detail on these is, I think the only thing I'm going to be disappointed with these is removing the fire effects. I was actually quite happy about those. They came out quite nicely, and I actually genuinely can't remember how I did that. I know it was a lot of wet blending, but anyway, I digress. So ultimately, the current plan now is to potentially get these stripped off here. Do the same with this over here. I've got some bio strip knocking about, and then basically I'm doing these one at a time. I'm not batch painting them. I'm picking up a model, repainting it, and redoing it, because I haven't actually rebased these when I've done them over here. I've just literally used a brush to rebase them because I think I tried one model with a spray, and I think the detail started to sort of disappear a little bit too much, because I don't really want to go through stripping them, and as some of the colours actually match what I want already, I didn't see the point in taking that additional time to strip and then respray, because actually I think they've come out quite nice. I was going to bring them up one more time just to make sure you guys had a proper look at them. There we go. So this is going to be my scheme for my sisters, which I think is Bloody Rose. There were some variations that I found in the book that look similar. Weirdly, I think Bloody Rose, some of them had white front-facing tabards, but there's also some black front-facing. I don't know if there's a difference in there. I probably should look it up and know my lore or whatever. There's probably a reason for it. However, very happy with it. And like I said, on the side of that, what I'm going to try and do this time is when I feel like I'm getting a little bit stuck in and doing that, I'm going to grab a Black Templar here and get a Sword Brother done. It's kind of to mix up the paint schemes. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at the moment. So yeah, I've made some decent progress in my opinion. Hopefully next week we'll have a bit more, but I will be talking to you all very shortly. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you watched, give us a like and a sub, and any comments about struggling with painting and getting time and stuff, obviously put down below, and let's have a chat about it. So take care everyone, speak to you soon.